Imagine standing before castles where kings ruled with iron fists, where every decision changed the fate of a nation. Some kings vanished, some legends were forged. This is the untold saga of Britain's epic rulers, in the shadows of Britain's ancient castles, where the mists of time cling stubbornly to cold stone walls. The echoes of kings long gone still whisper their secrets. These fortresses, perched atop hills and overlooking rolling valleys, were not merely buildings. They were symbols of power, of ambition, and of the relentless struggle for dominance that shaped the course of history. Each castle was a throne of authority, a stronghold against enemies, both outside and within, and a silent witness to the triumphs and tragedies of those who dared to rule. It was here, in these hallowed halls, that kings rose and fell, often leaving behind legends that blurred the line between history and myth. Some were celebrated for their wisdom and courage, their names etched into the annals of Britain forever. Others were feared, their reigns marked by bloodshed, betrayal, and mysterious disappearances that would puzzle generations to come. The walls of these castles held the weight of these stories, each stone carved with the memory of conquest and loss. Imagine walking through one of these ancient fortresses. The air is heavy, with the scent of damp stone and aged wood. Sunlight struggles to penetrate the narrow windows, casting long shadows across corridors where whispers of the past seem almost tangible. You can hear the faint murmur of councils held centuries ago, the clashing of swords on training grounds, and the secretive plotting that decided the fate of entire kingdoms. Every room, every hidden passage, every iron-bound door has a story, and many of them remain untold. Power in medieval Britain was not given. It was seized, fought for, and maintained through cunning, courage, and sometimes ruthless violence. A king's rule was constantly under threat, not only from rival kingdoms, but from within his own court. Advisors, nobles, and even family members could be allies one day and conspirators the next. Every decision carried immense weight. Every word spoken could spark loyalty or ignite rebellion. Castles were not just homes. They were stages for political drama of the highest order. The story of Britain's kings is as much about grandeur as it is about the shadows that accompany power. Picture a king seated on a magnificent throne, robes flowing, crown gleaming in the flickering candlelight. Around him, counselors whisper, plotting alliances, weighing strategies, and revealing secrets. The king must read every gesture, every tone, every hidden motive, because in those walls, betrayal often hides in plain sight. And beyond the throne room, in the cold, empty corridors, the echoes of footsteps sometimes belonged to spies or assassins sent to test the king's resolve. Battles were fought not only with swords and arrows, but with strategy and intelligence. A single misstep could cost a noble his life, a king his crown, or an entire army its honor. Castles were designed to withstand sieges, to protect the rulers within, but they were also traps in which power-hungry individuals could turn against their own. Secret passages, hidden chambers, and escape tunnels allowed kings to flee or spies to infiltrate, ensuring that the line between survival and downfall was razor-thin. Every king left a mark, whether visible in stone and scrolls or invisible in the ripples of history. Some names are celebrated: kings who expanded territories, fostered trade, and brought justice to their people. Others are remembered for darker reasons: ruthless rulers who ruled with fear, who betrayed allies, and whose ambition knew no bounds. But all shared one thing in common: the castles they inhabited became eternal symbols of their power. Monuments that outlasted their reigns and echoed their stories across centuries. Yet, amidst the grandeur and the warfare, there were mysteries. Tales of kings who vanished without a trace, of rooms hidden behind false walls, of treasures buried beneath stone floors. Chronicles speak of secret alliances and forbidden love, of plots that changed the course of history. Legends mingled with reality, making it difficult for historians to separate fact from myth. And it is this very mystery that continues to captivate us today. drawing us into the shadowed halls of Britain's past to uncover what lies beneath. Consider, for instance, a king whose reign was marked by extraordinary ambition. He walked the castle halls with confidence, every step echoing authority. He held councils, signed treaties, and made judgments that would decide the fate of millions. Yet in the dead of night, whispers of rebellion stirred. Perhaps it was a jealous cousin, a disloyal general, or a secret faction plotting in silence. In the cold corridors, every shadow seemed alive, every flicker of candlelight a possible threat. The weight of power was heavy, and history tells us that such pressure could make even the greatest kings falter. Power was intoxicating but fleeting. Some kings died heroes, others as tragic figures whose potential was never fully realized. Castles that once throbbed with life and schemes eventually became silent witnesses to time, crumbling slowly under the weight of centuries. Yet in their silence they still speak if one listens carefully. The stones remember, the halls remember, and those who venture into these ancient fortresses today can almost hear the echoes of footsteps from long ago, the footsteps of kings, of advisors, of soldiers, and of those who lived and died for power. To truly understand the legacy of Britain's kings, one must step into these castles not just as a visitor, but as a witness to history itself. Imagine exploring corridors where plots were hatched, standing in halls where decisions shaped nations, and looking out from towers that surveyed lands conquered and defended. Each stone tells a story, each shadow hides a secret, and each echo reminds us that history is never as simple as it seems. This journey through Britain's castles is not just about the grandeur or the battles. It is about understanding the human desire for power, the ambitions that drive rulers to greatness or ruin, and the mysteries that remain hidden despite centuries of study. It is about stepping into a world where every whisper could be a warning, every glance a betrayal, and every crown a symbol of both triumph and danger. So, as we walk through these ancient halls, as we explore the towers and dungeons, the chambers and secret passages, we are not merely learning history, we are experiencing it. We feel the tension, the ambition, the fear, and the courage of kings who ruled with wisdom, ruthlessness, or both. And in doing so, we uncover the untold stories, the hidden truths, and the epic legacy of Britain's most legendary rulers. The castles, the power, the mysteries, they are waiting. And as we delve deeper, the lines between history and legend blur, leaving us mesmerized by a world where ambition carved empires, betrayal shaped destinies, and every stone could tell a story of kings who dared to rule, fought to survive, and left their mark for eternity. The corridors of Britain's castles were not only homes to kings and queens, they were stages where history unfolded in dramatic, often brutal ways. The power of a king was measured not merely by the size of his armies, but by his ability to navigate the treacherous currents of loyalty, ambition, and deceit that swirled within these ancient walls. In part one, we walked through the stone halls, feeling the weight of centuries and hearing the whispers of kings past. Now we step deeper into the heart of their world, the battles they fought, the betrayals that defined their reigns, and the secrets that remain hidden in shadows. Every battle had a story, and every castle held its scars. On misty mornings, the armies would assemble, banners fluttering in the wind, armor glinting in the weak sunlight. The clash of swords and shields was not just a test of strength, but a contest of strategy and wit. Kings who ruled wisely knew that a single miscalculation could cost lives, kingdoms, and their very legacy. The battlefield was an extension of the castle, a stage where power was demonstrated and loyalty tested. Soldiers, knights, and even commoners played their parts in a drama that could turn the tides of history within a single day. But while battles raged outside, a different kind of war often unfolded within. The king's own council chambers were arenas of intrigue. Advisors whispered conspiracies in corners, nobles plotted in silence, and family members sometimes betrayed one another to gain a fleeting advantage. The throne was a prize that could be won not only with swords, but with cunning manipulation, and sometimes even murder. One wrong word, one misplaced trust, and the king could find himself dethroned or worse. In these halls, trust was a rare commodity, and betrayal lurked behind every smile. Secret passages and hidden chambers were the silent witnesses to these intrigues. Stone walls concealed staircases that twisted into darkness, allowing spies to move unseen or nobles to escape danger. Hidden rooms often contained treasures, maps, and documents that held the power to alter the course of history. It was in these spaces that clandestine meetings occurred, where alliances were forged or broken in secrecy. Some passages have been discovered by historians, but many remain lost, their mysteries buried under centuries of stone and legend. The personal lives of kings were equally complex. Behind the crown and the armor, human emotions, love, fear, jealousy, and ambition shaped decisions that would affect entire kingdoms. A king's favor could elevate a loyal knight to unprecedented heights or doom a noble to exile. Marriages were often political tools designed to cement alliances and strengthen. Consider a king walking through the gardens of his castle at twilight. The scent of roses and damp earth fills the air, but the serenity is deceptive. Beyond the hedges, enemies plot. Within the walls, servants and courtiers carry messages that could shift power from one hand to another. The king's every step is measured, every glance calculated. His mind must hold the weight of the kingdom while his heart navigates human frailty. In these moments, the drama of power becomes palpable. Not in the clashing of swords, but in the subtle, invisible maneuvers that decide the fate of all within the castle walls. Some kings were remembered for their wisdom and diplomacy, able to maintain peace and prosperity even in tumultuous times. Others are remembered for their ruthlessness, whose reigns were marked by fear and violence. But even the most celebrated kings faced moments of vulnerability. In quiet chambers, away from the public eye, they confronted doubts, fears, and the heavy burden of responsibility. Their strength was not only in leading armies, but in enduring the constant pressures of power and intrigue. Every castle tells a story of survival and adaptation. Defensive walls were strengthened, moats dug, and towers built to withstand sieges. But these physical defenses were only part of the story. Intelligence, strategy, and understanding the motivations of allies and enemies were just as critical. Kings relied on spies, scouts, and secret messengers to maintain control, knowing that information could be more powerful than any sword. The castle, in essence, was a living organism, constantly adapting to the threats both outside and inside. Legends from this period are filled with tales of kings who vanished mysteriously. Some disappeared during battles, leaving only rumors behind. Others were betrayed by those closest to them, and their fates were lost to history. These stories have inspired countless myths and ghost tales that continue to captivate imaginations today. The castles themselves, silent and enduring, hold these mysteries, waiting for those brave enough to uncover them. Beyond battles and intrigue, the cultural and architectural achievements of the kings were monumental. Castles were centers of art, learning, and culture. Great halls were adorned with tapestries depicting heroic deeds. Libraries contained manuscripts that preserved knowledge for generations. Every stone, every carving, and every tapestry contributed to the story of a kingdom striving for greatness amid chaos. The castles were not merely fortresses. They were symbols of identity, power, and the enduring human desire to leave a mark on the world. The interplay between legend and history is particularly fascinating. Chroniclers of the time often blurred fact with storytelling, creating narratives that elevated kings to near mythical status. These tales, preserved in manuscripts and oral traditions, ensured that the king's deeds, both heroic and infamous, would not be forgotten. Yet the challenge for modern historians is to separate embellishment from reality, to uncover the truths hidden beneath layers of myth. It is this tension between legend and fact that makes the story of Britain's kings so compelling. As we explore the castles, the corridors, and the hidden chambers, we begin to understand the human side of power. Kings were more than names in history books. They were people with ambitions, fears, passions, and flaws. Their decisions shaped the destiny of nations, and their legacies are preserved not only in stone and scrolls, but in the very fabric of Britain itself. The grandeur of the castles, the suspense of the secret passages, and the drama of courtly intrigue all come together to paint a vivid picture of a world where power was absolute, but never secure. In conclusion, the world of Britain's epic kings is one of contrasts, glory and terror, loyalty and betrayal, public duty and private desire. The castles stand as monuments to their ambition, as guardians of the secrets that defined their reigns. To step inside these halls is to step into a living story, where every stone has witnessed history and every shadow may conceal a tale of ambition, courage, or treachery. The battles, the strategies, the hidden chambers, and the personal lives of these kings all converge to create a tapestry of power and mystery that continues to captivate the imagination. History, legend, and mystery intertwine within these castles, offering a journey through time that is as thrilling as any story ever told. From the fog-laden ramparts to the flickering candlelit halls, the legacy of Britain's kings is preserved for those who dare to explore, to listen, and to uncover the secrets hidden behind the stone walls. And as we delve deeper into their world, the lessons of ambition, courage, and human complexity resonate even today, reminding us why these kings and their castles remain eternal symbols of power and intrigue. As the centuries rolled on, the castles of Britain stood steadfast, witnessing the rise and fall of kings whose ambition and courage carved the history of a nation. By now, the echoes of past battles and secret conspiracies had intertwined with legend, creating a tapestry of stories that blurred the line between fact and myth. The kings we speak of were more than rulers. They were architects of destiny, their every action shaping the fate of kingdoms and the lives of countless subjects. But power, as it always has, carried a price. For every king who reigned with wisdom, there was one whose ambition led to downfall. Betrayal often came from the most unexpected quarters. Trusted advisors, jealous siblings, or even family members seeking a crown for themselves. Within the stone walls of grand castles, decisions of life and death were made daily, and a single misjudgment could bring ruin. The weight of power was not only in commanding armies, but in navigating the perilous politics of the court. Many kings faced rebellions that threatened to tear their kingdoms apart. From the towering ramparts, they would watch armies advance, banners of their enemies fluttering in the wind, horns blaring, and the earth shaking beneath the march of soldiers. Within the castle, secret passages and hidden chambers became vital instruments of survival, allowing messengers to carry vital intelligence or enabling the king to escape in moments of peril. Some passages remain undiscovered even today, their existence hinted at only in ancient manuscripts and whispers among historians. Legends tell of kings who vanished mysteriously, leaving behind a throne but no ruler. In some cases, these disappearances were the result of treachery, assassinations plotted by those closest to the throne. In others, the truth was swallowed by the chaos of battle or the secrecy of political maneuvering. These vanished kings became figures of folklore, their stories told in hushed tones around fires, in the shadow of castle walls, and in the pages of chronicles. They became symbols of the fragility of power and the mysteries that surround it. Amid the turbulence, not all tales are dark. Some kings were patrons of culture and learning, enriching their castles with tapestries, manuscripts, and architectural marvels. Great halls became centers of art, music, and knowledge, preserving traditions that would influence generations to come. Castles were not only military fortresses, but also cultural hubs, where diplomacy, education, and creativity flourished under the watchful eye of the monarch. The interplay of war and culture created a rich, layered history that reflects the complexity of the times. Yet the human side of kingship remained ever present. Behind crowns and armor were men capable of love, jealousy, and compassion. Marriages were often political, but secret liaisons, forbidden romances, and personal rivalries added depth to the stories that unfolded within castle walls. Even the mightiest of kings faced doubts and fears in the solitude of their chambers, away from the public gaze. It was in these quiet moments that the true character of a ruler emerged, whether he would rise to greatness or fall into tragedy. Treasures and relics were another facet of this world, hidden deep within castle vaults or secret underground chambers. Gold, jewels, manuscripts, and artifacts were protected not only for their material value, but also for the power they represented. Possession of certain items could symbolize legitimacy, inspire loyalty, or intimidate enemies. Many treasures remain lost to history, buried beneath stone floors, behind hidden walls, or within forgotten tunnels. The allure of these hidden riches continues to spark the imagination of adventurers, historians, and storytellers alike. The architecture of castles themselves speaks volumes about the mindset of kings and the eras in which they ruled. Massive stone walls, towering keeps, intricate gates, and fortified towers were designed for defense, but they were also statements of authority. Every battlement, arrow slit, and portcullis reflected strategic thinking and the perpetual tension between security and power. In some castles, secret stairways spiraled upwards, offering vantage points to watch over both allies and foes. In others, labyrinthine corridors concealed chambers where plotting and conspiracies took place. The very structure of a castle became an extension of a king's will and intellect. Legends and myths often intertwine with historical facts, creating stories that are larger than life. Tales of ghostly kings, wandering deserted halls, hidden treasures, and curses on certain dynasties add a sense of mystique to these castles. Chroniclers of the time sometimes embellished events, blending reality with fantasy, ensuring that the deeds of kings would endure in memory long after their reigns ended. These stories remind us that history is not just a record of events, it is a living narrative shaped by perception, storytelling, and even in decline, castles retained their power, not just militarily, but culturally and symbolically. Some were abandoned or partially destroyed over time, yet they continue to captivate the imagination, inspiring stories, movies, and legends. They serve as tangible connections to the past, reminders of the fleeting yet enduring nature of human ambition. The rise and fall of kings, the battles fought and lost, the intrigue behind closed doors. All these elements converge to create a history that is as complex as it is fascinating. Ultimately, the legacy of Britain's kings is preserved not only in stone and manuscript, but in the imagination of those who dare to explore. The castles remain, silent yet eloquent, offering glimpses into a world of power, mystery, and human drama. The stories of triumph and tragedy, loyalty and betrayal, love and ambition continue to resonate, reminding us that history is not merely a record of dates and events. It is a story of people, of choices, and of the enduring pursuit of power. The castles, the kings, and the secrets they guarded are more than historical curiosities. They are a testament to the complexity of human nature and the enduring fascination with power and legacy. From the thunderous battles outside the walls to the hushed conspiracies within, the world of Britain's epic kings is alive with drama, mystery, and intrigue. And as we walk through these ancient stone halls, imagining the lives of those who once ruled, we are reminded that history is not just to be read, it is to be experienced, felt and understood. Every stone, every shadow, and every forgotten chamber carries a story. These are the stories of kings who dared to rule, fought to survive, and left a legacy that continues to inspire awe and curiosity. The castles stand as silent witnesses, guardians of power and mystery, inviting us to step into a world where ambition knows no bounds, secrets lie in wait, and the past continues to whisper its timeless tales. In the shadow of Britain's ancient castles, history breathes through stone walls and echoing corridors. These fortresses, perched on mist-covered hills, were more than royal residences. They were centers of power, strategy, and mystery. Within their walls, kings rose and fell, their legacies etched in stone, legend, and sometimes blood. Imagine walking through a castle gate at dawn, mist swirling around the towers. The air is heavy with centuries of secrets. Here, alliances were forged and broken in silence, battles plotted over flickering candlelight, and every step carried the weight of destiny. Kings were both rulers and prisoners of their ambition. Decisions made within these walls could spark triumph, rebellion, or even death. Trust was rare, betrayal common, and power always fleeting. Battles defined many reigns. Outside the fortified walls, armies clashed, banners flying and swords ringing under the cold grey sky. Yet within the castle, another war unfolded. A war of strategy, politics, and subtle manipulation. Advisors whispered in corners, nobles plotted for favor, and even family could turn against one another. Secret passages and hidden chambers allowed messages, treasures, and conspiracies to move unseen, shaping the kingdom's fate away from prying eyes. The human side of kingship was equally complex. Behind the crown and regal robes were men of emotion, capable of love, jealousy, fear, and ambition. Political marriages were forged, yet forbidden romances and secret alliances often changed the course of history. Some kings ruled wisely, maintaining peace and prosperity. Others instilled fear, their ambition leaving trails of blood and betrayal. Every corridor, every chamber held a story, and many remain untold, hidden in the shadows of time. Legends grew from these lives of intrigue. Kings vanished mysteriously. Battles were lost in ways that inspired myths, and hidden treasures remained buried within the stone walls. Castles became more than fortresses. They were symbols of authority, culture, and legacy. Great halls displayed tapestries of heroic deeds, libraries preserved knowledge, and towers overlooked lands shaped by kings' decisions. The architecture itself spoke of strategy, power, and survival. Even as centuries passed, the echoes of these kings linger. Castles stand as silent witnesses to ambition, bravery, and mystery. The stories of triumph and downfall, love and betrayal, courage and cunning continue to captivate, reminding us that history is alive within these stone walls. To explore these fortresses is to step into a world where every shadow tells a tale. Every corridor hides a secret, and every throne carries the weight of destiny. The kings, their castles, and the mysteries they guarded remain timeless. Their power was absolute yet fragile. Their glory eternal yet fleeting. From the clashing of swords on foggy mornings to the quiet plotting behind closed doors. The saga of Britain's epic kings is a story of ambition, legacy, and human complexity. A story still whispering through the halls of castles today. And as the last torch flickers out in the ancient halls of Britain's castles, one truth remains unshaken. Power fades, but legacy endures. The crowns have turned to dust. The thrones lie silent, yet their echoes still thunder through time. The walls that once trembled with the cries of battle now whisper stories of courage, betrayal, and destiny. Every stone, every scar, every silent corridor carries the heartbeat of kings who dared to dream beyond their age. These castles are not ruins. They are monuments of ambition, forged by hands that reached for eternity. They remind us that true power is not in ruling the world, but in shaping its memory. For in the end, empires fall, crowns crumble, and kings are forgotten. But legends never die.